All right. Bob Owens is with bearingarms.com. He wrote a very important piece on this subject. Bob, as always, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me on, Grant.
Bob, am I wrong in saying that this proves that gun-free zones are a bad idea?
Well, if something fails 98% of the time, then yeah, it's probably a bad idea and it should be changed. And that's what we're seeing with what happened here in Fort Lauderdale. You hit the nail on the head. This guy came in. Where he came in from was utterly irrelevant. He picked a target specifically because he knew it would be a gun-free zone. And then he carried out an attack knowing that he would face no opposition.
You know, I think it was you who pointed out that with TSA and what you can bring into the airport, I mean, people don't even have pocket knives to defend themselves if coming off the plane.
Absolutely not. I mean, when I fly, I have to check everything from, a tiny penknife to screwdrivers to actual knives that would be useful for self-defense, much less the concealed carry firearms that I tend to have on me at all times. So when they set up a situation where only the bad guys can have guns, guess what? Good guys are going to be in bad shape. And, hand to hand against a guy who is armed is a really bad situation to be in.
It never ceases to amaze me that the left here now comes out and thinks this is a reason why we shouldn't have guns and gun-free zones work. I don't know how they come to this conclusion. There's a bill up in the Florida State Senate. This senator is sticking by it. He wants to do away with gun-free zones inside government buildings and airports outside the secure area of the airport. That bill was filed 3 days before the shooting. Now the media is coming out and vilifying the senator when I think the shooting proved the senator's point.
It absolutely proves Senator Stubbe's point. It was dead on accurate. He knows just as well as you and I and any other expert knows that you're creating choke points, both going into the terminals and the TSA lines and ticketing, and then down in baggage claim, where terrorists are going to come in, where there are people bunched up outside of these secure zones and lay waste. And that's exactly what happened here. We don't know if this guy was necessarily a terrorist, but his mindset was the same. He wanted to get to an area where people were stacked up and could not defend themselves, and that's where he chose to carry out his attack.
And I will say, authorities are not ruling out terrorism here. The media doesn't want to report on that. There is a strong possibility there could be a terrorism link in all of this. Real quick, though, Bob, you follow the politics of all of this. What do you think Senator Stubbe's chances are of getting this bill passed in Florida?
Well, if legislators on both sides of the aisle have rudimentary intelligence,
so you're saying no chance at all?
Well, that very well could be true. If they're smart, though, they'll sit here and they will look at the fact that these zones fail. They will look at the fact that Florida is one of the few states that currently bans firearms in these areas, and realize that maybe this airport was picked because it was such an easy target, and this law needs to be passed.
Well, let's hope it is. Hey, Bob Owens, bearingarms.com. Great work with what you do over there. And again, thanks for coming on the program today.
Thanks for having me on.